Officer Eugene. Thank you. We have Officer Eugene with us, and I know he has to go shortly, but Officer Eugene is our official community liaison. So he's going to introduce himself and just kind of talk about what his role entails. Can you hear us, Officer Eugene? We can't hear you.
I think he's on mute.
He's on his phone. I think he's trying to maneuver. Officer Eugene, we can always have someone go, oh, it's connecting to audio. Just okay, we should be good. Nope, not yet. We could have Roy with Roy Cogdell with the Grove Park Foundation. Go ahead while you're sorting that out. Roy, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? My name's Roy Cogdell, and I'm the volunteer manager at Grove Park Foundation. Been here for about 4 months now, and we are really looking for ways to help our community. Right now, we are working with a program called Everyone On. They're sponsored by Microsoft, and they have a really cool program that's being put in place for adults and seniors in the neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods. So Center Hill is definitely invited to join us, but basically we're going to be putting on a computer training course. It's going to be 8 hours spread out between 3 or 4 days, March 1st, March 3rd, March 8th, and March 10th. These training sessions will teach adults how to start up the computer, use their Gmail, learn how to open up spreadsheets and Google Sheets. Basically want to give you the core background of how to use computers. And with that, anyone that joins us and completes the course load, they'll get a free computer at the end of the course. And then they'll also be given opportunities to get internet and other opportunities. And here we have Miss Anita Lee. She is the program manager with Everyone On. Anita, if you'd just like to join in and tell everybody a little bit about the program, what you all are doing.
Hi, good evening. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm sorry I'm a little late. So yeah, I think I'm not sure how much Roy told you, but I am with Everyone On, and Everyone On is a national digital inclusion organization. So we have various projects around the country focused on actually executing programs around closing the digital divide. So whether it be digital literacy classes, assisting with distributing laptops and devices, if it's capacity building and webinars, if it's doing train the trainer opportunities. It all depends on, we're a nonprofit, so it's based on the funding and whether or not it serves our mission. And so we were asked to come on a project with Microsoft Airband. Microsoft Airband is an initiative under Microsoft that's dedicated to promoting infrastructure type programs. So they're going into different underserved communities and underserved neighborhoods and promoting the infrastructure of internet, understanding that having broadband internet in the home is essential to closing the digital divide. And so they also partnered with various nonprofit refurbishers in order to provide devices. Here in Atlanta, it's PCs for People. PCs for People is also have several offices around the country, and they're just making their way into the Atlanta area. And they want to find places to put up their WISP network, their wireless internet service provider network. And I'm sure eventually, if you haven't already, but you will eventually meet Brian Hooker, who's the managing director of the Atlanta office. But yeah, so I'm here. Everyone on is serving as the digital literacy provider. And yeah, I'm working with Roy to put together a cohort of learners that have little to no computer experience to do the basics. Actually, Roy started talking about Google Sheets and stuff, and we might not even get to that point because we are looking for those that have the little to no a computer experience. And so we go through the basics, like what is the mouse and what it does, and this is the monitor and what it does, and the tower, as well as what is the internet? I mean, what is it, and how what is a website? The difference between a website and a web browser, and a search engine. What is email? Why do we use it? Why is it important that we remember our password? Why do we exactly have to have an exact, you have to remember the exact way in order to have your email so that you can log on to it. So very excited about what we can do and what we can bring along with Grove Park Foundation, as well as your neighborhood, to empowering your citizens, and then and also letting them know about the upskilling opportunities that Microsoft has available as well. So I'm sure Roy will send you guys information, got our flyer and things of that nature. And
I just put my information in the chat too. So if you know anyone that might be interested, please share my email and my phone number. We are looking to start the cohort on the 1st, and we'd like to have everyone signed up at least a week ahead of time. But we are pretty nimble, and we'll work as best we can to work with everybody in the community. And also, we have a couple other programs and projects coming up in the next couple months. So please, if you haven't already, follow the Grove Park Foundation Instagram page, Facebook, and everywhere else that we're on. I think we're on Twitter too. But awesome. Does anybody have any questions about the program? Okay, well, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. I'm going to sign up. And I threw all my information in the chat as well.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Checking back in with Officer Eugene. Officer Eugene, I can always, if you type it in the chat. Oh, you good?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I had to figure out how to use it. Sorry, I'm old. I'm 40. So just a quick introduction. I'm Senior Patrol Officer Eugene Idlet. I've been with the City of Atlanta since 2012. I'm newly appointed to the Community Liaison position, which allows me to have direct access to the police department and the mayor's office, to be able to reach out to these community meetings and deal with any of y'all questions or concerns, and I can forward it up to chain of command. I tell people my best and worst attribute is I'm honest. I'm all about honesty. I'm gonna tell you what you have, what we can do for you, if it's a situation that can be fixed, if it can't be fixed, and I'm gonna utilize all my resources and the chain of command to do what we need in the community. And I'm from here. I've been here my whole life. My family's here. I've been in Zone 1 since I started police. So I'm here for y'all.
Can you tell us about Beat 109?
So essentially 109's beat is in the center of Zone 1. Donnelly Hollowell encompasses both sides. I didn't bring any crime stats with me, and I'm not at work. I just logged on.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're Beat 109 for those of you who do not know.
Yes. So the Center Hill community is Beat 109. I'll send you over your beat officers information. You have 3 designated beat officers that work more time in your beat than you spend at home. They spend 40, 50 hours a day on the beat dedicated to handling the scenarios and lowering crime.
And Officer Eugene did give us a printout of a year's worth of data for our beat. And I do have it. My apologies. I meant to upload it, but I will do that, and so people can have access to that. if they would like to see.
And I don't know how to use this, but I'll give them my email address. You have my direct line if you need direct access or have any issues or comments or concerns. When we go back to in-person, I have no problem coming out to the in-person ones also. But it's just been a lot. I deal with Grove Park, I deal with Mosley Park, I deal with all of the communities, all the nonprofits, everybody in the zone. Good thing is I'm dedicated only to Zone 1. So it's not like a city-wide program. My objectives and my resources are only directed towards Zone 1.
Officer Eugene, would you like for me to type your email in the chat?
Yes, you can send them the email in chat. If they have any issues, problems, concerns, they can email me directly. Again, I would do it myself, but I don't know how to use this.
No problem at all. Did anyone have any questions for Officer Eugene?
I did. This is Miranda. What specific issues could we email you about? Just so we're not bombarding you.
It's one of those things. I have no problem answering any questions. I know there's been a lot and people have been complaining about different houses and different suspected drug houses. It takes an act of God to remove those houses. I just literally have to be honest with you. It is so hard to work and deal with those houses that are suspected drug houses. We either have to go buy drugs ourselves or get a confident informant to go inside. We got to do it multiple times. And unfortunately, when we go through all the work, the people get probation. Yeah, I hate to say it. They consider it victimless crimes. Drugs sell themselves.
Thanks.
I have a list of the houses. I forwarded it up, but it's just a lot of work. And for those don't know, we're super short staffed. It's been rough lately. I feel sorry for y'all, but we continue to come to work. We're working on it. I'm hoping the new mayor has some kind of program or some kind of plan in place. But it's work. It is, just being honest.
I believe it was Lieutenant Jones and myself and Miss Addie. We were discussing how hard our officers work, and they make arrests, and then people are let out the next day, if not the same day. So I say all that to say we have a lot of work to do when it comes to holding, our judges accountable, because it goes above our police officers.
And it's not just the judges, it's the whole system. Your district attorney, she has a lot of work to do herself, but she's taking on a mess that Paul Howard was able to create over 20 years. But it's a due process, because the people the district attorney holds accountable, the sheriff can still release on a signature bond, and vice versa. The judge can give a person a $50,000 cash bond, and then they get to the jail and the sheriff gives them a signature bond. So it's a complex system, and it's just a lot, and we're working ourselves to death, but it's a revolving door. And the biggest thing is they're complaining about they don't have room to house these people. But when you choose you don't want to be a productive member of society, get out of society. So let's build another jail.
Rhoda, did you have a question?
No, I had a comment and I wanted to say thank you, because sadly, I live on a drug street, and the house directly in front of me has always been a drug house. It looks great, and they're doing renovations on it, but it was busted yesterday. And just like he said, sadly, people were arrested, but I didn't see them get hauled away. But at least they were over here. So I'm really happy about that. There's an effort. It shows them we're not going to put up with it. So I'm very pleased, and thank you.
And again, our people work hard. We have a dedicated narcotics team. We have our Titans unit. We have a whole lot of resources, but it does us no good when we lock up people and they're out before the paperwork's done.
Thank you, Rhoda. Miss Ola, did you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask Officer Eugene, do you do code enforcement? We have a lot of, especially at Dunley, Hollowell, and James Jackson Parkway, where a lot of homeless people are located, and their bags of trash and still stacked up. So I was just wondering, would you deal with it as well?
Yes,
Because I
ma'am.
know it's on my property.
We have quality assurance officers. I have direct access to. The problem is the property owners don't care. So even though it affects your community, I literally, at Donnelly and Bolton Road where all those homeless people are.
Of course, that I noticed that has been cleaned off. I came by that way early part of the week.
Well, the
So that
owner
is clean.
bought that property and is using it as a tax write-off. So he buys it and then says it's a dilapidated property and he can't do nothing with it. And then he writes off $4 or $5 million and he sits on it. And basically he's sitting on it until the new apartment complexes are built on Bolton Road. And then once all the new infrastructure is in, he turns around and sells it and doubles his money. So the problem we have where these people are and hang out at, the owners don't care and they do it on purpose.
Wow. Thank you. That's information that I were not aware of because that is in my NPU-J there at Donnelly, Hollowell, and Bolton.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I know Councilman Hill has been on that as well. And so I guess that's the reason it's cleaned up. But at least they could put a fence around it where if the people wouldn't, go back on it.
The fence isn't real. And again, it's the owner. And then you can't force the owner to put a fence up. And then if the city pays for a fence, then we don't have budget now. I don't have printer ink.
No, we don't want the city to pay for it.
The owner's not gonna pay for it. He doesn't care. It's not his community.
Doesn't he get fined?
It's one of those things. So I have a bunch of owners that are actually in Japan where there's Japanese families that are getting together and they're investing into properties in Atlanta through a law firm in Britain, through New York. So these people are buying property in Atlanta sight unseen. So it's like, how do you enforce that? There's no tangible owner. And then I have to have a law firm sue another law firm that sues 10 people. And then they're investing in it long term. They're buying it while it's cheap and they just want to sit on it until the area cleans up and then they sell it for double their money. So it's like a catch-22. I've been dealing with that on Boone too with a bunch of apartment complexes and drug houses to where you can't find an owner. It's through a LLC, through another LLC, through a group. There's no physical.
But the property itself can still have fines on it. So whenever it sells.
But they don't care. If it sells for $3 million and it has $10,000 worth of fines over 3 years, they don't care. That's the problem. A lot of the people investing aren't part of the community. So they don't care.
Could we, like I had a boss once tell me, I'm sorry to interrupt and jump in there. I was working at CVS and they were telling me if they want somebody to quit, it's they aggravate them to death. They make it so hard to be there, so irritating, they just end up quitting. Is there possible we could use a similar tactic to where we fine and aggravate them and just complain till they're like, it's just not worth it?
If they're not in this country, they don't care.
But
if I had a person that, because the thing is, so all right, imagine me trying to send a subpoena through New York to Britain to China. How do I even prove? The issue with those kind of things is you got to have someone served. If I can't get you served, so it never happened, if that makes sense.
I understand.
It's like a lot of these people use PO boxes. So when you try to serve them, a service has to be done in person or they got to sign for it. So they know better. They know just not to, they know to avoid it because this is what they do.
Well, my next thought is cancel culture. Every time something hits the news, then people get embarrassed and then like, okay, let's clean this up because the news has now made people aware of what's going on. But that even half work.
I mean, again, that works for someone local. If you have a tangible person that you can force that on, but literally a lot of the properties that are nuisance properties, there's no tangible owner, or it's an LLC that's attached to a person through a PO box, if that makes sense.
It does.
So
Thank
you can't, I'm just being honest.
I
And but
appreciate it.
you can't serve a PO box. And that's the main thing is we're trying to bridge the gap because I know this stuff directly affects y'all. Y'all have kids that get on the school bus, y'all go grocery shopping. Like this is your community. So again, you're questioning it and understanding like, why can't we fix this? But these people know the system. And unfortunately, that's the problem. Because if you don't want to be touched, you don't have to be touched. If that makes any sense.
Oh, yes, it does.
And then a lot of these people have resources. They have money. They got lawyers to where the lawyer shows up and says he can't come. And they do that 5, 6 times while they're waiting for something to get done. And then they just sell the property and be done with it. Like I have a friend who bought a multi-service unit. It had a barbershop and restaurants and stuff like that. And then he doubled everybody's rent till they left. And then he used it to write it off for his taxes. So he didn't have to pay taxes and then sold it for what he paid for it. And he called it good business.
Ms. Gail, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I was wondering, these are things that I've heard before and I know them to be true, but I'm wondering if we're asking the right people the questions because, there are a lot of cities where they have problems like this and the city council is standing up and saying, we're not going to allow this anymore and passing laws and having restrictions on people for doing things like that. So maybe what the people we need to be talking to is, our city hall, our mayor and the city hall, if they can't come up with a solution to stop some of this. I'm just asking a question.
How long you been in Atlanta, ma'am?
All my life.
So how many of our mayors have went to prison for corruption?
One.
No, ma'am, you ain't paying attention. Three of the last 5. And
for corruption? I thought
yeah,
what's his name went.
That's what they got him for. It was all based on corruption and theft, but it goes all the way back. So Kasim Reed has 8 open indictments, and I don't know what they're gonna do with Lance Bottoms, but the issue is the politics because it's easy fix. Just like we keep having shootings at strip clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why won't they let officers work the strip clubs?
But then don't officers need help from the community to put a little pressure on these people to make some of those things happen?
I mean, I'm not taking it away from it, but all I'm saying is, like you just said, there's certain rules in place where if you have a shooting at a strip club, you allow the strip club to have a business license, but then you have a rule in place where that strip club can't hire an officer to do security. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. That's why I'm saying we can't put pressure on them.
But
they're just not going to listen.
What is the purpose of a politician? To get reelected. You know how a politician's lying?
Mm-hmm.
Their lips are moving.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're not affected by it. We have every time they have an event, they get security provided them for free.
And we just have to suffer with all the problems we have existing.
I don't have a perfect answer, but I've been to Hollis's house personally. I have his phone number, and since he's been in place, what has changed?
Riverside.
It's been just more of the same.
Yeah, well, we got to come up with some kind of solutions because I don't think we can continue to go through all this stuff that we're going through right now. It makes no sense.
So I don't want to sound negative. We're working hard. We're trying our best. But the rules have to change. We can only affect the rules and laws that are in place.
Officer Eugene, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I'm going to put your information in the chat again so everyone could have it. Officer Eugene is great at responding. You'll also see him around the community, of course, and also don't be a stranger to Zone 1. They appreciate when we, come to the precinct and introduce ourselves and, say hello. So go ahead.
And we're here. If you ever want to ride with us or see, I can get permission to take you around and see what's really going on. It's my full-time job, 40 hours a week. All I do is community stuff. I handle all the meetings. I handle all the complaints. If you contact the major, he calls the captain, they call the lieutenant, they call me. So having direct access to me is the only way to fix your problems, because it's gonna go up and then come back down. So I'm here for y'all. We're doing everything I can, or we can. And the biggest thing I do is I'm just honest. There's no reason to fill y'all up with smoke or lie or tell you something or make promises we can't keep. We need to be honest, and we need to change the culture so that we're all in this together.
Thank you so much. Be safe and have a good night, Officer.
I will. Y'all be safe. Call me if you need me. You have my number.
Thank you so much.
All right. You welcome.
City officials, we have Anita Harris here. Do we have any other city officials that would like to say anything?
I'm Alan Holmes from the Office of Council Member Dustin Hillis. Hello.
Good evening, how are
Good
you?
evening. I'm great, great. Just wanted to come here to represent the office tonight, and also want to thank Officer Eugene for all the work that he's done, and definitely understand the frustration about what's been going on. Just to answer a few of those points, because these were just recent developments. Councilmember Hillis is actually pushing to have the Atlanta Police Department rethink the policy about not letting officers work at clubs and different venues, because he acknowledges that that is an issue, which probably has been a factor in some of the crime that's been happening, and specifically about the shootings at the Blue Flame. Councilmember Hillis is just looking at what the solicitor's office can do about just issues that are popping up, but he most certainly believes if there is more security and if officers are able to, because right now the policy states that they're not, but that definitely needs to be changed, and he's pushing to get that changed as quickly as possible. As far as some of the updates from the office, we continue to do the cleanups with Georgia Works. Cleanup number 5 is going to be coming up. There's some streets in Center Hill and Grove Park and Lincoln Homes and other communities that we have on the list, which always adding more to the list, trying to get tires. I would say we have over 700 tires disposed of, and over close to 400 bags of trash that the men at Georgia Works have been just working it to amass, and they've done a great job. And the hope is to continue to do that, but obviously we need the Public Works Department to be fully staffed up so that some of these responsibilities can kind of shift back. But until then, Councilmember Hillis is still partnering with Georgia Works on street cleanups and getting addressing some of the tire dumping. If there's some other issues that people may have, if there's anything specific concerns or ideas that anyone on the call has, I can definitely take some notes down and get that to Councilmember Hillis.
Thank you so much. Did anyone have any questions?
No, I think I remember on Facebook, Councilman Hillis responded to a post that I had said, because he was asking about places that he felt or we felt needed attention for cleanup. And so I don't know if he's still taking requests or where we could do that at, because you had just mentioned the tires and dumping. And so is there like a public forum where we could post areas that we feel need attention, or how do we do that?
Well, you can, I can give you my contact information and you can email. My email address is acholmes, ACHOLMES @atlantaga.gov. And my cell phone number is 470-602-8399. And yeah, if you email, I'll just go ahead and add it to the list, because the project manager for Georgia Works kind of has a master list that we work off of. So as soon as you email it, we'll just add it to the list. And then they'll kind of hit it on the next, time that they go out.
Awesome.
But keep in mind that, I mean, we would love to have a list of 50 streets, as you can imagine, but you know, that it's a crew of 12 and they work 12 hours. So it's a lot of work and it's actually done over 2 or 3 days. So, you know, the main thing is we need some more collaboration. So if there's any kind of neighborhood cleanups that we can do in between the monthly cleanups, it would help. Because the amount of littering is just, it has improved, but it's still just a lot. So it almost needs to be about 2 or 3 a month. But we're trying to do as best we can to pay for at least 1 a month. But does anybody else have any questions or concerns?
If you could just put your information in the chat, that way we all have it, that would be helpful. Well, I think I see it. Never mind. You already put it in there.
Yes, it's in the chat.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Alan. We appreciate your attendance.
All right, you're welcome.
Anita, good evening. Anita, if you can try to keep it at 5 minutes, we have Inspector Thomas here to have a big discussion about Neighborhood Watch with us. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I won't hold you even that long. I do want to say that the Board of Commissioners did pass the budget last month on the 19th of January. And one of those items that Commissioner Hall wants to make sure was funded was PAD. And so $400,000 will be going to PAD in this year's budget, fiscal budget season to cover temporary housing, emergency housing, barrier reduction to transportation, phones, food, clothing, documentation. I know that PAD services are big throughout the district, throughout the city. You guys know I'm a Grove Park resident currently, and so we know that service is needed and PAD needs the additional support. So she was finally able to get her colleagues to agree and vote on $400,000 for them in this fiscal year. That really is probably one of the big ones. We are doing some mask and food distribution events. So if you guys would like for us to do one in Center Hill, please let me know and we can get something coordinated. Really all we need is a location that has adequate parking, because these are going to be drive-through events with the surge. Cars, as long as they can move freely through a point and exit without impacting the neighborhood. We once had an event that was much larger than we could have imagined, where we literally reached over 10,000 people, and it had a negative impact to Westview. And so, you know, we certainly learned from that, don't want to do that again. And we're typically serving maybe a couple of hundred people at these events, but we certainly want to keep in mind the residential areas. And so if you have a lot in mind, a church, an empty parking lot that you are permitted to use, let us know and we'll certainly get something coordinated with you all. We've received a very large donation of masks and other PPE items. And we want to make sure that that stuff gets to the community. And also I came in late, forgive me. So I came in late and caught a bit of the discussion with Officer Eugene. And so just let me know if you also want me to invite the Sheriff's Office to come in. He works really closely with APD and is working on a plan on how he can support our local police force on the streets as well. And so I know that he will probably send a team member to come and address some of the concerns so they can bring it back to the sheriff and they can see how they can address some of the issues that are happening in the neighborhood as well. So if you like, I'm happy to let them know you guys have a need to get them invited next month also. That's it for me. I won't take too much time today. Oh, no, that's not it. I told a story. I'm sorry, guys. We have COVID test kits. I feel like the need for test kits, maybe we're not using them as often. And I know that the federal government has them. Our insurances are allowing us 8 a month, but we have them as well. And so we can expect them in 15 of our library branches soon. So the only one, unfortunately, in our district is the MLK branch on John Wesley Dobbs. Commissioner Hall is trying to make sure we have a plan for getting these in the hand of our small businesses as well, because we were told that a lot of our small businesses just don't have the capacity to close their doors to go out and get the test or to send employees out. And so we want to make sure that there is a plan for that. So that's something that we are addressing. But if you need test kits and are unable to receive any more through the mail order system, Fulton County, we do have them as well. That's it for real this time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I placed my information in the chat.
Miranda, I'm confirming that we still don't have the grocery spot representative.
Yeah, I don't see him on. Matthew, if you're on, feel free to speak up, but I do not see you. Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, so I think we can move forward with Inspector Thomas, who is here with APD. Inspector Thomas, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. How is everybody doing this evening?
We're doing well.
Okay. Well,
Inspector- Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I was
go
just
ahead.
letting everyone know that Inspector Thomas is here to discuss us forming a neighborhood watch group. We've had a lot of interest in Center Hill about forming a neighborhood watch group, and so she's here to discuss that with us. Thank you, Inspector Thomas.
Okay, the neighborhood watch program with APD, it's all it is to educate the residents to be the eyes and ears for the police. As Officer Eugene states, we're not fully staffed. I don't think we'll ever be fully staffed, but we need to work together to get the communities feeling comfortable or safe. Because with all the stuff that's going on in the communities nowadays, you're scared to even look out the door or either walk out the door. So with the neighbors looking out for each other, we have a lot of neighbors that work from home. We have people that do different shifts and all of this. That's all the neighborhood watch is to watch out for each other. We've tried to organize it street by street. Now, Center Hill is a big area to cover. And I know you won't have participation on every street. And we're not gonna, harp on that. If we got one person on the street, we'll let it go as part of the neighborhood watch and let that person on that street try to get somebody else to participate along with them. The neighborhood watch is broken up into coordinators, block captains, okay? The coordinator is like Miss Bell or anybody else that spearheads the community, okay? And the block captains is just like it says, you cover the block that you're on or the street that you're on. We don't expect you to cover the whole street because it depends on how long the street is. You may need 2 or 3 block captains depending on the street, but we expect you to just cover what's in front of you, what's behind you, and what's on the side of you. And that's just watching out as a block captain. Then you recruit members on your street to be part of the neighborhood watch. We want you to also educate them on the fact that they need to report what they see, but they can report back to you as a block captain so you can get it out to the masses, the whole community, however y'all disseminate information through your newsletter, however your emails, whatever you do. I looked at your website earlier and it's awesome with your t-shirts and everything. It is truly awesome. And however you disseminate your information out to the masses, because in a neighborhood watch is set up where if she passes Miss Bell's house, if the perp passes Miss Bell's house, she might get the tag and you might get the color of the car. So that's how you let everybody know, well, I got a strange car sitting on the street that's been going up and down the street. Can you look out and see if you can see anything? And you do a paper trail, you write everything down. So if we have to come back to it or visit it, we got that it was a black Toyota tag number. And if you don't get the whole tag number, and remember, look at things, even the person in the vehicle, something that they cannot change. They can't change their eyes. They can't change a tat that's on there, a tattoo that's on them. Even if they're outside of the vehicle, if they got on a $400 pair of tennis shoes, they're not going to get rid of those. It's, they may change their clothing. And, the general description is a black male, white t-shirt, jeans. Okay, that can be anybody. It could be somebody sitting on this, if you understand what I'm saying. We have a point system that the APD has established for the neighborhood watch. It takes 102 points to become a certified neighborhood watch. And I shared this with Ms. Bell. I don't know whether it has been sent out or not. Has it, Ms. Bell? Can you hear me?
We're aware of the point system. the current list of activities that qualify.
Okay. And you can choose anything in the categories, and I don't know why my video is not working, but I'm on a city computer, so I was on there earlier where I could see everything, but I don't know what's going on. But I don't want to mess with it because it may mess up. The 4 categories that we have, nothing is etched in stone. You may do something that will fall under the category that's not listed. These are just suggestions. Okay, we have a citywide neighborhood watch training that we do 3 times a year. We did one virtually because of the pandemic, and we're trying to look for another one in March. It's a 4-hour training that covers other things other than the neighborhood watch. It takes safety tips, all kinds of things that's in the training. We have outside vendors. We have people from Gangs and Guns that talk to you about gangs. We got people from the robbery division. These are sworn officers that talk about what they do to help you to do what you need to do in your community and how to watch out. That is giving you 10 points in the neighborhood watch training thing. So that's 10 points. And then you have listed things that's got the red stars that give you 5 points. Then you pick these things. Now y'all had a cleanup according to what I received in the email on the 29th of January. Am I correct?
We rescheduled it because of the weather. So the rescheduled date is the 12th of February.
Okay. See, that's a point. That's some points for you. You got your flyer. I saw the flyer. It was good. Take pictures. What I need is for accreditation to create your folder and to have it if they ask me how did Center Hill become certified as a neighborhood watch. I pull out a file, and this file is locked away. Nobody sees anything other than the department. And we put all this information in there. Take pictures. That's my way of saying that you've done these things, and this is my proof. Along with if you do a meet and greet, sign-in sheets, that works. You know, that's all I need from the community to prove that you've done these different things. Ride-alongs, like Officer Eugene says, ride with him. Okay, a ride-along, you have to fill out documents to do that. And they normally want you to do a background check because they don't want a criminal ride with the police. But that's documentation that you did these certain things. So basically, that's Neighborhood Watch in a nutshell. When you establish your neighborhood watches and we get everything set up and you've gotten your points, then the neighborhood watch signs are installed within the community. Basically, they're done going in the community and coming out. It depends on how the streets are set up. You may have 2 signs. You might have, I have a community that had 12 signs because the way the community was set up. But it's to let them know that this is a neighborhood watch and these people are looking. And you have to understand, perpetrators look at this. They say, okay, if they got a neighborhood watch, I don't want to be over here because somebody's going to be watching, looking out and seeing what's going on. So do you have any questions or for me?
I have a question, Ms.
Yeah.
Thomas. Thank you so much. This was very helpful. Is there a certain time frame that we have to gather all of our points and submit them? Like, does this have to be done over the course of a year or over a few months, or what does that look like?
Okay, that's totally left up to the community. The quicker you get your points together, the quicker the signs go up, because I can't do anything without documentation of that you have gained all your points. So I had a community in Buckhead, they've done it in 2 months because they had done all these things and kept documentation. So all they did was pulled it up and gave it to me. And so everything was in place. The only thing with them, it took me 2 more months to get the signs up because of the pandemic. Our signs are done with a silk screen, so I didn't have the lady that did the silk screen, she was out and it was just a mess. And I just got the signs up last week. But hopefully with the pandemic, look like it's calming down some. It won't take that long for y'all once we get everything up and in place.
Thank you.
Also, Center Hill, we do have a survey And we had many residents take the survey, and 93% of residents were interested in being involved in the neighborhood watch. So if you are interested, please put your name in the chat, or I'll put my email in the chat and my phone number. You can text me, and you can also email me if you're interested in being a part of the neighborhood watch. Ms. Ola, did you have a question?
Yes, I just had a question for Officer Thomas. When is the training in March? You said
It has not been, the date has not been.
established. Okay.
Soon as
Okay.
I get it, I'll send it out and everything, because what we do a registration online. So you fill out the registration and it comes directly to me and all of this. So once we get all the kinks worked out, because they're going back and forth with this pandemic, they're saying we were doing it in person. So we're trying to see whether we can still do it in person, or we're gonna do it virtually and in person. We're working the kinks out, if you understand.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And we're trying to wait till the weather change, because we don't know what Georgia weather gonna do. So we try to wait to, at least March before we try to do anything.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have a question for Inspector Thomas?
Can I say something else, Ms. Bell? Each zone has its own inspector. Right now, we're down to 4 inspectors. We're in the process of interviewing on the 16th of February. I'm a senior inspector. I go citywide. I go from each zone, taking care of what things have to be taken care of. So right now, you've got me. Eventually, you will have a zone 1 inspector once we get the person hired. But I'm always here for you. Miss Bell know how to reach me. And Miss Reynolds, we went way back. Now I know you know who I am.
I know who you are, Inspector.
Okay. We've been around the corner a long time.
Yes,
but,
we done had a great rodeo down through the years.
Yeah, through the years. So if you need me, I'm here for you. If you got any more questions about neighborhood watch, just reach out. And please understand, with me going around citywide, and it's only 4 of us. If I don't answer your email right away, I'm gonna get to it. Don't think I'm ignoring it. But you can't imagine the emails I get in a day. So, but if you have any more questions, I'm here to the end to help you in any way I can.
Thank you, Inspector Thomas. We appreciate you. My information is in the chat, you all. If you are interested in joining Neighborhood Watch, please let me know. Ben, can we move forward with the slide, please?
Okay. You want to leave it on the agenda or move to the purpose?
I think we can go ahead and move down to the committee reports. I think that's what we are.
Right.
Thank you. So first, for our committee reports, we have Miranda. Miranda, do you have an update for us with the next beautification?
Yes. So I think you guys probably saw the email, and I just mentioned it briefly. We had to reschedule the cleanup in January because it was freezing and it actually snowed. So we've rescheduled it for February 12th. So that's next Saturday, same time, 10:30, same place. So supplies will be there. We'll have the pickers, gloves, bags. Just come and bring a neighbor or bring a kid. Yeah, and then you can go to the next slide, Ben. I just put something on here because I don't know how many people are aware that you don't just have to wait until we do these cleanups to actually help with the litter that's in our community. You can pick up litter at any time on your own, or if you see dumping in our community, because we do have a lot of that, you can always report it on ATL 311. They have an app that you can download. These are just like a few things that you can report in our community. So missed garbage and recycling, illegal dumping, graffiti, dead animal removal, or dumpster violations. Just last week, I reported 3 things: 2 issues of dumping on Baker Road, and then I reported a dumpster violation at the Dollar General off of HE Homes. And so those are things that we can do, and they will get taken care of. I actually just got a notification this week that the cases had been closed. So just want to empower everybody to do that. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Miranda.
Hey everyone, so real quick update. Been passing knowledge to Taryn and Miranda so that they're able to update the community through email, through MailChimp, which is our email platform. Pointed out some errors on the website about getting signing up for the newsletter. So the newsletter sign up is in more places now, and we have an issue on the site with PayPal payments. We're still working to get that resolved, but we're got our member role, and we'll be getting that automated so we can keep track of membership dues and notify people when it's time to renew. Thanks all.
Thank you, Jason. I would like to say thank you to Jason for all the work he does to you know, in terms of our website and everything. It was my task to do the PayPal, so I'm on that, and we'll keep you guys posted about that. But thank you, Jason, for everything.
Hey y'all. Yeah, just I don't have a ton of confidence that they're gonna give us access again because it's PayPal, but we've got an alternative route as well by just open up a new one. So I think we'll be able to get it resolved.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep, thanks all.
So for zoning, 2 special event applications came before the zoning board. One was for Purple Stride, and this is for the park, the West Side Park. Purple Stride, April 30th. They would like to have an event. And then I'm sorry, I put Purple Stride twice. There's another organization. I can go back and look for you guys. I'll let you guys know what that is in a second, but they are having an event at the park on May 7th. So those applications came before the zoning board.
Taryn, what is Purple Stride?
Purple Stride. I'm not sure what that organization is. I didn't look up the organization, but it's a nonprofit, or both are nonprofits. 1 second. I don't want to hold everyone, but I'll get the name of the other one in a second. Also, in terms of applications, and alcohol license application, I put Purple Stride 3 times. Okay. So the alcohol application, license application is for, Ben, help me out. What's the name of the barbecue place? Mr. Pig.
Mr. Pig.
Yes, Mr. Pigs on Donnelly Howell. They put an application for an alcohol license. So that came before the board. So those are the updates in terms of applications that we received. Next slide, Ben. So in terms of zoning ordinance, property that is basically near the MARTA is going to be rezoned. And District 9 Councilman Hillis is over that is over this particular ordinance. And so that's what this is here. A parcel list and a map. I can drop, well, we can drop that in the chat. Ben, can you drop the parcel list and the map so people can look at it at their own time?
Yeah, I'll do it in a minute if that's
Okay, so these are the parcels, and also a map of the area and the parcels that are going to be rezoned. So you guys can refer to those links and you know, look at that in your own time.
Yeah.
comprehensive development plan. So this is another ordinance. As you all know, there's a lot going on in the city with redevelopment. So this is essentially similar to the last one I discussed, from the open space land use designation to mixed use. So these addresses are currently zoned for open space land use, and they're going to be rezoned for mixed use. And so that came before the board. So, and this is on Donald Lee Howell. So we have a lot coming to Donald Lee Howell. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. And I'll find the name of the other organization. I'm doing that now. Rhoda?
Hi. Hey, everybody. Thank you to all the people who have come out this evening. Appreciate your time. And I'd just like to say welcome to everybody before I start my report. As you can tell, the school board is going to start discussing redistricting. If you have children, of course, in school or you work around the school, that's going to be a hot button issue in the future, probably the next 6 months or so. I didn't know this, but there is an advisory committee made up of students from different schools around Atlanta. Also, there's an advocate task force for the LGBT community. And on February 7th and March 7th are the APS board meetings from 2:30 to 8 p.m. And if you want to speak, you have to sign up around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Thank you, Rhoda. Rhoda, did you want to discuss the event?
Yes, I'm acting as the events chair for the moment until someone else takes it. So we're going to do on February 14th, that's next week, we're going to go down to the police zone 1, and we're going to have police sweethearts. We're going to decorate a table, introduce, of course, they've seen us before, and for anybody that wants to participate, my information is in the chat. Also, we proposed a Mother's Day spa day. I spoke with Massage Envy on Howell Mill. So far, she's not committing to anything, but she offered a 1-hour massage for our Mother's Day. It's also been proposed that we do a dad's cook-off because dads are always talking about how well they can cook. And I saw in Kelly Clarkson today about food and dudes, where these two guys were talking about they love to cook and they have conversations about life and what's going on. I thought that was really great. And it reiterates my thoughts that men are always saying they can cook and they're always liking to show off, but I rarely see a man in the kitchen. So that's the thoughts behind the dad's cook-off. I've also had a good friend of mine. She's the CEO of the Now Corporation. And they basically, I call it a bill collector. She probably can explain it better, but she was excited about what we're doing. So she's offered to lend a hand here and there. And that's what I got so far. And again, jump on board anywhere, anytime you like. My information in the chat. That's what we're doing so far.
Okay, next be environmental. I've got some wonderful news, an update on the Park Pride grant. We talked about last month that the new mayor was adding an additional $2 million from the city of Atlanta to be awarded to match previous year's Park Pride grants in community development impact areas. So Miss Addie and I met over with our park designer. We came up with visioning to add a second trail that would cross over, and I'll show an image of that. But we were awarded a $145,000 additional grant to build this second leg of our trail inside of Centennial Park. So this is phenomenal opportunity for us. I'm going to share real quick the details. So this was just the award letter. It was just, I just received this on Tuesday. So this is hot off the press. We have 145,000. Basically, we have until 8/2023 to get this project completed. Again, it's going to be adding some additional walking trails around the baseball fields and connect both sides of the park with a bridge over Proctor Creek. The design is, this is the site survey map. I've got a better picture in a minute, but for those that like looking at maps, I'll be more glad to share this with anyone. But for layman's terms, I have an aerial view, a little bit easier. So you have Donnelly Hollowell at the bottom. The blue line is Proctor Creek. On the softball field on the left, our first grant, we're going to build in the red, a walking trail around the backside of the first softball field. And with this, we're going to branch off and build a bridge over Proctor Creek and cut across to connect to the other side of Center Hill Park. And I highlighted in yellow what you can now kind of walk around the field. So when this is completed, you can basically do infinite loops around in a trail and never have to stop, and be able to cut back and forth across both sides of the park without going around Woods Street, going back down Donnelly Hollowell when they have softball tournaments and things like that may open up a lot of opportunities inside the park now because they're connected. So I just wanted to share that wonderful news. Any questions?
This is great news, Ben.
Yeah, this is, I'll be honest, I didn't really hear feedback yet on what other parks were granted, but I think our enthusiasm and our organization and our visioning for this park is one of the reasons why we were invited to participate in the second funding. And I think it's just a great testament to all the work we're doing at Center Hill. You know, the city through Park Pride is recognizing our efforts. So this is wonderful. All right. And
Really incredible
again,
work, Ben.
yeah. And so again, here's my contact information. I'll put it in the chat in a few minutes, but anybody that wants to participate, I'm more than glad to, pull you in. The next step that we have on this is we need to put together a press release that we will, it has to be blessed. So I'll be working with Taryn to kind of do a press release announcing this, and we can piggyback off the press release we had for last year and just kind of amend it and get it blessed, and then we can publish that out to the community so that it can be, because it's newsworthy, it really, especially with this level of a grant. This is very exciting. So we'll get some press with this and hopefully even attract more attention to what all we're doing in the neighborhood. Thanks. All right, Finance Committee.
Thank you, Ben.
Mhm.
I think Jason has gone.
Okay.
So real quick, I dropped 2 links in the chat. One was for Purple Strides, and that's an organization that fights to help find a cure for pancreatic cancer. And the other one is Team for Cures, and that's multiple myeloma. And they're a network that fights for a cure for multiple myeloma. So Team for Cures, they will have their event in the park May 7th. And then Purple Stride, theirs is in April. I don't remember the exact date in April, but theirs is in April. Also, in terms of what did you call it, Rhoda? The something sweetheart, police sweethearts.
Police Sweethearts.
Police sweethearts. Okay. So Rhoda and I will be going to the Zone 1 precinct. We've organized everything with Officer Eugene. We have a table to set up. Rhoda's getting the decorations. I'm getting the treats. If you are able to contribute, please, $5. If everyone could give $5, that would go such a long way. I will keep all the receipts, so everything is accounted for. And of course, we're going to be posting pictures if you would like to stop by. We're going to be setting up at 10 o'clock. We'll be at the Zone 1 precinct to set up for the officers. I will put my Cash App in the chat if you would like to contribute $5. That would be so helpful. Of course, we have our community resources. These are also on our website. And yes, I added this as well, community resources, just for people to refer back to, and we'll get this on the site as well. Refer back to District 3 and District 9 are candidates, if you just want to refer back to their responses when they were running. And also if you want to help someone find out, you know, the district that they're in, or look up another district yourself, these resources will be added to the site. Did anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Is that it for tonight, Center Hill? I'm going to drop my Cash App in the chat. If you guys are able to contribute $5 to the Police Sweethearts, that would be great. Thank you so much, Center Hill. We appreciate you. You guys have a wonderful night.